Why is it that some people grow more serene, more radiant, and more at peace as they age? They no longer argue impulsively, nor do they feel the need to prove anything. In their eyes lies a quiet contentment, as if they've seen beyond the lines of right and wrong, gain and loss. Could it be that they've learned something younger people haven't yet grasped? Perhaps true happiness doesn't come from how much we gain, but from how much we can let go. As we cross the midpoint of life, we begin to realize that not every thought needs to be spoken, not every argument needs to be won. Stillness, turns out, is the most powerful voice. Could it be that the second half of life isn't the end, but the most complete chapter? When the heart is no longer crowded, we begin to notice the quiet beauty of simplicity. A warm cup of tea, a gentle song, a meaningful conversation. These can become real sources of joy. So what is the secret to happiness in the latter half of life? Perhaps it lies not in doing more, but in letting go more. Letting go of burdens, letting go of regret, letting go of stubborn pride. And this is when we learn again how to live lightly, how to smile peacefully, and how to love life. In a quiet, gentle way. Let's begin the journey of discovering the seemingly small things that bring about a truly fulfilling second half of life. 1. In the second half of life, learn the power of calm. Calmness doesn't mean you no longer care. It means you've understood enough. When others misunderstand you, you no longer rush to defend or explain yourself. Instead, you choose silence, not because you have nothing to say, but because you realize not everything needs to be said. In life, right and wrong are often not so clearly defined. What seems black and white may in fact be layered with shades of gray, full of nuances that words cannot fully explain. Sometimes there's no such thing as an absolute truth at all. So you come to understand if you don't feel the need to speak, then don't. If words cannot make things better, then silence may be the deepest answer. A person with life experience knows there are times when saying more is useless, and silence reflects both wisdom and compassion. Calmness does not make you weak. It makes you more grounded, because when you no longer need to always speak up, that's when your inner strength is solid enough to truly listen, even when the world outside is loud and chaotic. 2. In the second half of life, embrace serenity. At a certain age, we naturally lose our appetite for noise and chaos. We no longer feel drawn to competitions, to winning or losing. We no longer crave the spotlight or feel the need to prove ourselves in a crowd. Instead, we long for a peaceful life, a light-hearted soul, and days that pass gently without turbulence. Serenity is when you are no longer swept away by external storms. It's the ability to sit still in a world full of upheaval and keep an inner space untouched by the noise. This is not indifference, it's a deliberate choice to live mindfully, to live deeply, slowly, and authentically. Regardless of whether material life is abundant or lacking, the most precious thing is the peace within. A heart that knows contentment, a spirit that feels light, a smile that needs no reason. That serenity becomes the foundation of health, longevity, and lasting happiness. Serenity doesn't mean letting go of everything. It means letting go of what's no longer needed. It's keeping kindness, sincerity, and the simple joys of everyday life within you. 3. In the second half of life, learn the strength of humility. Life isn't always smooth. There will be times when you disagree with your children. There will be arguments with friends. And there will be moments when you feel hurt because you were misunderstood or treated unfairly. But does it really matter that much? Try looking at things with a softer heart. An apology doesn't make you smaller. A well-timed bow of humility can sometimes save a relationship that's on the verge of breaking. Learning to humble yourself isn't a sign of weakness. It's a strength. It's the strength of placing love above ego. Eventually, you'll understand. Being right is not as important as keeping peace between hearts. Instead of arguing to win, choose silence to preserve the bond. Instead of clinging to the pain, choose forgiveness so your heart can be light again. The one who bows first is the one who sees farthest. The one who speaks up first has the biggest heart. And the one who can yield when needed is the one most worthy of respect. 4. In the second half of life, let go of regret. Life is a long journey with countless turns. There are paths we once walked with full trust, only to look back and realize they weren't the best choices. But really, is there any need for regret? Every decision, whether right or wrong, was the most honest choice we could make at that time. With what we knew, what we felt, and what we understood then, it was the best we could do. And that is enough. Life never gives us a chance to start over. There's no rewind button for what has passed. But what we can do is move forward, with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. Regret only weighs us down. Acceptance and letting go are the first steps toward healing. Stop replaying the words, "if only," in your mind. Instead, say to yourself, "Thank you, past, for helping me grow." Because in truth, it's the stumbles, the imperfect choices, the heartbreaks that have shaped the strength and depth of who we are today. Nothing is truly regrettable if it helped you become a stronger person. 5. In the second half of life, never stop learning. Many people believe that learning becomes unnecessary at a certain age, but in reality, the later years are when we need learning the most, not to gather facts, but to nourish the soul. Learning doesn't only happen in classrooms, it happens in life. It's when you open an old book and still feel moved as if reading it for the first time. It's when you try your hand at calligraphy, color in a painting, or hum your favorite tune. It's when you realize that learning isn't about being better than others. It's about becoming deeper, more peaceful, more whole. Keep a small music player with you. In the quiet of the morning, play a few gentle songs. As you walk through the park, let melodies follow your steps. Music, like an invisible friend, quietly warms the soul and soothes unspoken weariness. Learning in the second half of life doesn't carry the pressure of success. It is joy in its purest form. It's when you learn a new dance, not to perform, but because your heart still responds to the rhythm of life. As long as you still want to learn, still want to explore something new each day, your heart remains young. And this life still holds so many beautiful reasons to keep living. 6. In the second half of life, preserve your simplicity. The world is becoming increasingly complicated. Adulthood, with its many worries, often causes us to forget the innocence we once carried in our hearts. But in time, we come to realize what's most precious isn't something grand, it's the purity we're still able to keep within. Overthinking makes everything tangled. As we grow older, we become more afraid of offending, afraid of being hurt, afraid of being misunderstood. So we build layers of defense around us without even realizing it. But if you can, keep a small part of your soul childlike, gentle, sincere, and capable of smiling at life's simplest joys. Live simply in each moment. Enjoy a warm home-cooked meal. Breathe in the familiar scent of your kitchen. Move your body, not to follow strict routines, but to feel that it's still healthy and flexible. Talk with friends, not to win or prove a point, but just to share a piece of ordinary life. Don't burden yourself with things too deep. Not everything requires analysis. Not every relationship needs a clear right or wrong. Sometimes, living simply is the deepest way of living. Because in a world that is loud and rushed, the one who can keep a simple heart is the one who is truly happy. 7. In the second half of life, occasionally loosen the reins. For much of our lives, we are taught to stay in control. Control what we eat, how we rest, how we speak. We strive to live right, reasonably, respectfully, age-appropriately. But when was the last time you allowed yourself to just relax a little? One day, you might crave something greasy and delicious, or a humble meal with friends, without thinking about calories or blood sugar levels. You might want to sleep in on a weekend morning, or sit quietly watching the rain all afternoon, doing absolutely nothing. That's not giving up. It's giving yourself a small gift of freedom. Life requires discipline, but now and then, a bit of spontaneity, a moment that breaks routine, can breathe new soul into your days. Don't confine yourself too tightly. Don't live like a clock that always ticks on time, yet forgets to pause and breathe. Allow yourself to loosen up, just a little, so your heart doesn't grow stiff, so your smile still carries playfulness, so you can feel, once again, that slowing down can be a lovely thing. Because in the end, we're not here to become perfect examples of living. We're here so that with each passing day, we remember what it means to truly live. In the second half of life, always dress beautifully. Beauty is not a privilege of youth. Beauty is a form of self-respect. It's how we treat ourselves kindly, regardless of age. Yet sadly, many people after middle age give up on it, saying, "I'm old now. It doesn't matter what I wear." That's the moment we begin to lose the spark in our own eyes. Don't let silver hair or a few wrinkles stop you from wearing the dresses you once loved or the colors that once made you glow. Dress beautifully, not for compliments from others, but to feel more confident, to bring energy into your life, and to look in the mirror and still see someone lovable. Dress up, even when you're just staying at home. Wear lipstick, even if no one sees it. Choose a bright scarf, a comfortable pair of shoes, and go for a walk as if you were strolling through springtime. Why? Because you deserve it. Because life deserves to be seen with fresh, joyful eyes every single day. As long as your back is still upright and your legs still steady, walk with pride. Walk in beautiful places, wearing clothes that make your heart smile. And if anyone asks, why bother dressing up at your age? Just gently reply, because I love my life. 9. In the second half of life, allow yourself to be a little naive. The longer we live, the more we realize that not everything needs to be so clear, so analyzed. Some things become more confusing the more we chase clarity. Some people feel more distant the more we try to understand them. Some stories only weigh heavier the deeper we dig. So why not choose to be a little foolish sometimes? To know but pretend not to. To understand but choose silence. Not because we're ignorant, but because we've lived long enough to know that peace matters more than being right. Sometimes we forgive not because the other person deserves it, but because we deserve to be at peace. Sometimes we turn a blind eye, not out of weakness, but to save our energy for things that truly matter. A little naivety helps us laugh more, live lighter, and let go easier. We don't always need to be sharp, quick, analytical, or reactive. Some days, it's enough to sit quietly and watch the clouds drift by, letting the heart rest. A simple soul is not a foolish one. It is someone who has walked through enough weariness to understand that peace of mind is life's most precious gift. 10. In the second half of life, bless others often. We do not live alone in this world. The way we treat others, sooner or later, life will reflect that treatment back to us. When you offer blessings to others with a sincere heart, the joy doesn't just reach them, it circles back and settles quietly within your own soul. Praise your friends, even for their smallest accomplishments. Encourage your children and grandchildren as they take their first steps on their own path. Send warm wishes to strangers, for a kind word can sometimes ease an entire day of weariness for someone you've never even met. And you'll come to see something magical. When you make others feel valued, you also begin to feel more worthy yourself. When you bring a smile to someone's face, that smile leaves its trace on yours too. Live in the present. Savor each moment fully. Never hesitate to offer a kind word or a gentle blessing, because the most beautiful thing in life is not what we possess, but how much love we've been able to give away. True happiness isn't something we keep to ourselves, it's something we share, quietly and simply. Do these reflections speak to your own life? If even one line touched your heart, feel free to leave a comment below. It might be just a few words, but that's the connection we're building together. If you find these messages meaningful, don't hesitate to share this video with your friends, your loved ones, those who are also walking through the second half of life and could use a little peace for their soul. And if you'd like to join us on this journey of seeking calm and joy in the later seasons of life, please hit subscribe. We'll be back with more gentle stories like this, so we can slow down together and live more deeply, one day at a time.